The following is not a new video. We repaired the audio and enhanced the video. The following is also intended to be a supplemental reply to Skallagrim's recent video, Cutting Spear or Polearm Shafts with a Sword in Historical Combat. We now proudly present Viking Martial Arts Lesson 3, Spear Sundering, as it was meant to be experienced. Hey there, fellow warriors. Welcome to another legendary episode from YouTube channel Thrand.
I break through the walls that they build in my mind. I say you won't go where the flow. The rebel inside is the power I let it go out of control.
Hey, Thrand here.
Hiya, this is Eldgrim.
And we're here with the illustrated guide of Viking Martial Arts by Antony Cummins. And we're going to continue with Viking Martial Arts Lesson 3. And we've chosen pretty much to go over some of the more controversial stuff in the book that people are talking about. And he documents in the sagas of sundering a weapon, or cutting through the shaft or haft of a weapon, like a spear or an axe, or polearm, even in one of the accounts here we see. And what we're going to do is try to copy some of the images in the book, see if we can actually hack through a spear in that manner, being used two-handed and thrusted at a shieldman, and see if there's any alternative techniques to maybe making this work in some way.
Yeah, looking at this, I have to say that it's a great desk reference for your sagas, and I think Anthony's trying to discover how to do that. One of the things we noticed in two other reviews of his work is that I think when you draw illustrations or you illustrate through stills, how to do a martial art, I think it makes it more difficult to learn something like that. So I think
you pretty much have to get up and do this yourself. After you look at these pictures and you read the accounts, you pretty much have to get up and actually use your own martial ability and practice. We're not telling you to go out with real edges and hurt each other, but you need some kind of effigy of it and to actually get a feel for it and actually have a little bit of experience. So what we're going to do today is try to apply some of our experience and what we know and see if this is possible, how it would have worked in the sagas, and how these men might have orchestrated the whole thing or set it up to actually sunder their opponent's weapon or damage it in some way.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. I'm excited to try it out and see what happens.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We have Eldgrim here, and he's got his gear or his spear. And what he's going to do is he's going to be standing back, and we're going to try to copy that illustration out of Anthony's book where he has the spear, and he's going to thrust at me, and he says on the inside. So that means as he thrusts, so y'all see, if I had it this way, he wouldn't have an opening. I'd be standing here and not give him one. I'd have to let him have an opening to get him to do this if I want to try the sunder idea. So let's say I give him the opening, he's coming in, and I'm going to be cutting this way. So what I've got to do is actually step over and cut so I don't get hit. So what we'll do here is we'll say I did that. We're going to go ahead and try that. Try to aim it a little bit lower, because honestly, if he was aiming it the way he had it, he knows what he's doing. He's aiming this at my throat. All I see is this. So honestly, he would thrust me directly in the face, and I would never have time to react. But now, if let's say he was aiming it lower, where I have a chance. This is a little posture up here. So I noticed that, so I try to give him this opening. Let's see what it did. Anything to it? Let's try a little bit harder blow next time.
It didn't really get anything that time. Let's try one more.
And this is actually
one.
a smaller diameter. This is about 3/4 inch, almost an inch, which a lot of the spears we find would be longer than this, but would actually have that diameter. Some would be larger and hardwood. This is hardwood. I don't know how the grain's going, but most of the time they made sure they cut it out of the tree and straightened it and then rounded it. So it'd be a lot like a bow. All the grain would be going the same way. A lot of these dowels nowadays are done on the lathe, so if it does snap or something, sometimes that would be poor quality workmanship from today, not
Right.
But let's see what it does. I want to be a little further back, your spearman. Yeah. But let's say he's got it down at my belly. When I see he's got it that way and it's not at my face where I can determine how fast he's moving and so on, I let him have an opening. Try again. Try again. That was the best one we got the whole time. Let's see what we got. I saw a good gash.
Yeah.
How deep did it go?
Pretty deep.
It appeared to be cutting through.
Yeah.
What I'm assuming is on a battle, you would want to hit any spear. If it comes over the shield wall, you'd want to try to cut it. They had German mercenaries later century that used the big Zweihanders and the Flimbergs and stuff, and they would actually use another pole or a hook to catch the long pole polearm when it came over the shield wall, pull it down, and then the man would hack it off two-handed. So we know it's possible to cleave through one of these, even larger diameter poles on longer, heavier spears and polearms. But in this situation, I don't think it's going to work very. One more time, just to. No, there.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for you to thrust one more time.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to just get that. I'll try really hard. One more time. Just.
All right. Ready?
Now it was a really good blow. How bad?
We're nicking it pretty good, but you know,
I'm not quite seeing it. I'm having to move, and honestly, I feel uncomfortable. Really, with a spear, I'd want to just hey thrust. I'd want to just come in and take it.
Yeah.
But oh well.
That's pretty cool, though.
Let's go ahead and try something else. What I think is, you read a lot of the sagas and they talk about it binding, like the spear ends up against a rock or against something. It's bound in such a way that when it gets hit, it's more of a sundering break.
Or he dashes.
Well, that one, when it states dashes, I almost think maybe it would meant like in our video, where I hook it with the axe and I pull the
naginata
simulated
down.
naginata down and then stomp it, breaking the head off.
Yeah.
Which they talk about this in Sagas too, and I believe he covers that in his book, where you stomp the weapon, breaking it, or push it down, the spear comes in and hitting it down and then stepping it.
Yes.
And that would be dashing to me, going up the.
Yes.
Which of course we're not going to break it that way right now. But let's
agree.
try one. Let's say if you were aiming at my head, at my face, and you thrust in. If I were to bind this and hit it this way, I think we'd have a much better chance of maybe breaking this.
All right.
Try going at my face.
All right. Here we go. And let's
Way better.
Oh, dude, if we do
Do it once more. Let's try it one more time.
All right, let me line it up where I'm not gonna.
I'm going to try to bind it with the shield as he does this.
All right, ready? Oh, that's it.
That was the sunder right there, and that was for me using my shield in a scissor action and binding it. See?
Yep.
So
You almost completely chopped through it.
Yes, I did. So
You
I'm
know-
thinking the binding is the secret, because they talk about binding and they talk about the spear, and one of them comes in. What if I were to hit it down and I hit it down towards the ground and then?
Yeah.
Sorry, you all right?
Yeah, it'll rock your hand though.
I hope the audience could see that I just chopped clean through it as it was on the ground.
I think that's interesting that we found a way to
If you
make
bind it-
sundering.
In any way, or even bound it down and hit with the foot, you could probably snap the shaft. If the warrior was quick enough and could set the guy up, and I think you would know to try to stop me from doing that.
I think so.
You would be in fear of that happening if you had a weak
It's
shaft.
repeated damage over and
on your
over
gear.
and over to a shaft that's really
Oh,
going
most
to do
definitely.
it. Well, while we're at it,
Do you want to try the axe?
let's do that. I'm eager to see how that works out.
The outside means if you took a blow at me, like you're throwing a blow,
Which one? This one?
oh, no, straight overhead.
Straight over?
I'd step out. Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
I don't want to hit you.
Yeah, you kind of caught my
Right, we
knuckle
got to be
there.
careful with this one. I don't think we're going to be able to really do this the way the weapons are
All
in
right,
the situation.
so slot
But I would
shot.
follow what I would do is sidestep and follow my
Okay.
line. Oh, you hit metal against metal. I hate that.
Never good.
You don't want to ever hit your sword into another blade. Like if I was
Or-
fighting him and he tries to hit me, I could do this, and I might damage his axe in the process. That's fine. But let's say if I was going to be hitting another sword, you would not do that.
No.
If I had to parry this way, I would
You'd
do
wanna
something
go flat.
correct. If I could, I'd want to brace this and hit it this way. If I had to. Normally, I would just use my shield,
Right.
my Skallagrim to do it. But let's say if he's coming in, I don't think you're going to get it. I just don't see it. I don't. He's going to keep his hand behind this shield. This is a very large shield. I'm not seeing it. I'm trying to get
But
in.
as it's traveling away from you and down,
I don't
you're not
think
getting enough.
The only way I
force
think you
behind
could
it.
sunder the axe is if you're attacking on this side.
So. Oh yeah.
That's the only thing I can see. If you're coming in,
Uh huh.
and I'm seeing the damage to my axe, and I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm seeing that it would eventually damage it if I kept doing it.
I think you're right, dude.
And also, one of the accounts, and I'd like to recount this real quick. He's using a polearm against another polearm. It sounds like it was braced as well, possibly.
What am I
Just
doing?
throw this stuff down quick.
Okay. Well,
Throw your skill and your ooks away. And what we're going to do is I'm going to explain this. Let's say he wants to parry with this, and I get in on it. I've gotten past the pole, and I'm throwing a blow. He's going to put this up to defend yourself.
okay. Yeah. All right.
If you were to brace this and put it up, and I hew into it, it's possible we're going to force to break this like we did that against
But
the
again,
shield.
that's a binding.
Right, it's another binding. I think that's described in the saga too as well if you go back and look at the accounts in this book. So I'm thinking the ones where it seems like it's an intentional thing, it was situations like that where like you thrust, I move, and then boom!
Yeah.
And I give it everything I've got, knowing I can try to go through that and
Yeah.
then come into you as well. If you didn't have armor, that would probably be a death blow.
I
if
believe
it
you're
made it
right,
through.
Thrand.
I think that was 2 polearms though at the time. But as for just cutting it in midair as it comes by, I'm not seeing it as it's okay to try, but I don't think you'd risk your life trying to do it.
I think you're right about
Unless
that.
it was opportunity. It was opportunity, that's all I could do is hit his poles that went by. Yes, I would rather do that than nothing as I
So
back
yeah,
off.
you might get the nicks in it and weaken it over time so that when you do finally bind it, that's when you're going to get the sunder.
Correct, but like as for pushing it to the ground and stomping it or hacking it as it's going down, because a lot of times you follow the angle of the shield you're cut, because the shield's in the way, so you have to follow the angle of the shield, keep your hand behind you to protect your hand.
Yeah.
So everything down, you've got your cut. It's just as well. On top, I did a little trick here. You'd be punching up and then cutting down at the same time. You might even cut through the shaft and hit the guy at the same time. It'd be more of an attack. And
I agree.
you also kind of risk hitting the edge if you're near your face of the pole.
I think we've helped
Solve the mystery.
There you go.
I think it has to do a lot with binding, and I think the warriors knew what they were doing and bound the weapons on purpose. Because even the back of the axe, where's your, just to show something else, we were in a shield wall, and I'll just use the axe, just for example. Let's say you thrust it at me. Normally, most of the time, yes, the beard's down. I use this because I like to be able to thrust with it. I use it often. And I mean, different people would do different things, but I use it like a beak. But let's say this would be down. If you thrust and it comes over the shield wall, I catch this and bind it like this, and he's trying to get it back. Somebody else could chop it off or get a hold of it.
Sure, you'd have a whole bunch of people taking shots.
Yeah, I could be
at it.
down here safe behind it, and with the hook, it could easily be done. With this hook on here, I could hook it from this angle,
Right. That.
and I have it here, and somebody else behind me would be doing their thing while I'm holding up the shield wall.
I got you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think we have solved that mystery about sundering weapons. I don't consider it a real martial art technique. I still think that it's a thing of opportunity, like we talked about with shield sundering and everything else.
one more fact, just to say, if you're not hitting it at the same time, with the axe, which you can't do with the sword, you can hold it up and just hold it in the way, and let me hit it. It would damage it, but it's not going to damage my blade, and it's not going to damage your handle that bad if you're just letting it. Yeah, you're not really hitting. So I think that would be okay. You would want to try to avoid me hitting yours at the time. You swing it over at me, and it's going to cause a lot of damage to that.
Sure, yeah, you don't want to.
Especially with that weight coming forward, it'd be like a bind.
Yeah, you don't want
The weight
all
of the
this.
head traveling at high speed with the sword impacting it, it could cause it to break. So yes, I see this happening in the sagas. I could see it accidentally happening, and in some cases, maybe an expert could orchestrate it. So anyway, I think we've talked about it enough now, and we'll see you all later. Bye.